Looking at this, so it says, think about it. Are all circles the same size?
No.
No, not all circles are the same size. So, since all circles are not the same size, then what determines the size of the circle?
The diameter.
The diameter or the radius?
Let's go.
And remember, the radius is just half of the diameter. It's from the center to the side. So then, are all circles the same shape? Yes, because they're all circles, right?
Unless you have an adjacent circle.
Okay, so all circles are the same shape with similar size, or not similar size, with not the same size, which means that circles are not congruent, they're similar. So, if you can map a figure to another figure using the 4 transformations, which are translation, rotation, reflection, or dilation, then the figures are similar. So what you could do here is if you want to map it to, say, take B to A, or map A to C, then you could move left or right, so you could translate, and you can go up or down. So I'd move 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and I'd move 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So I could translate right 4, up 4. And then if we look at the radius on the A is 1, the radius on B is 3. So how many times will we have to take A and multiply it to get B?
4.
3. Because 1 times 3 would be 3.
Are they really, are circles hard?
There's just a lot. There's a lot of formulas.
Oh.
Okay.
What's that?
So that's just basic little intro to circles and the fact that circles are all similar. So looking at the next page, that's just some definitions of a lot of the things that are in circles, the key parts of circles. So first thing we have a circle. In the center of a circle, the circle is the set of all points that are the same distance from the center point. So a circle is just a circle with a set of points. And at the same distance from the center point. And so A would be the center right there. What we call that. Then we have the radius, which is the line segment from the center point on the circle to the circle. So the center of the circle to a point on the circle is a radius. So on that picture, that's AB. Okay, a chord is just a line segment whose endpoints are on a circle. So it's basically just a line in a circle that stops on the circle. The diameter is a chord that passes through the center of the circle. So now a secant line is a line that intersects the circle twice. The difference between a chord and a secant line, a secant extends outside of the circle, a chord stays inside the circle. So a chord stays inside, secant goes outside. Then a tangent line is just a line that touches the circle one time. And then the point where the tangent line touches is the point of tangency. So here I would be the point of tangency, and then IJ would be your tangent. Okay, so now we have an arc. An arc is a piece of the circumference of a circle. Just remember the circumference is the outside of the circle. It's just the distance around the outside. So there are three different types of arcs you can have. You can have a minor arc, a major arc, or a semicircle. So there's different ways to name it, or to name these. If it's a minor arc, that means that the arc is less than 180. Because we measure arcs by degrees. And we name with 2 letters. Just like I did over on the picture. You name it with 2 letters. And then you have the little arc over it, a little rainbow over it. If it's a major arc, it's more than 180. And you name that with 3 letters. So like we were talking about this arc right here, that arc would be MKL, because it's bigger than half. And then when it's a semicircle, that means it equals 180 exactly. It means that it has endpoints on a diameter, which we'll talk more about later. And we named that with 3 letters as well. And then a sector is just a piece of the area of a circle. So it's like a slice of pie out of the circle, the sector of the circle. Okay, so on page 3, what you're going to do is you're just going to go through those and you're going to tell me what they are. If they're a diameter, a center point, a sector, an arc, tangent, whatever it is. What would that be? A diameter. What would that be on number 2? Center of the circle. We can just call it the center. What would number 3 be? That's a sector. What's that on number 4? An arc. Number 5? Secant line. Number 6?
Radius.
Yep. Seven? Mm-hmm. 8? Tangent line. 9? Chord. 10, what's that point right there called? Point of tangency. It's number 11. Secant line. And number 12, forward. Okay. So, on that next page, on page 4, you're actually given some things, and you have to tell me what they are in that circle. So looking at that first one, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to highlight them as I go while we talk about them. So I'm going to be doing a lot of erasing and highlighting. So it's talking about LQ. It wants to know what LQ is. So we have LQ right here. What would that be? It only hits the circle one time, so it is a tangent. Okay, then we have, I'm going side to side. So WY. WY is a chord. Okay, if it has an angle on it, like number 3 and number 8, I'm going to skip over that one and we're going to come back to it. Because it's going to be one of these two things, but we haven't talked about those yet, so I'm going to talk about those briefly after we finish this page. So the next one is X. What would that point be? The center. Then R, W, U. So R to W, then to U. So when you're finding an arc like that, I went in the order of the letters. So I went R to W, then to U. If you would have went the other way, that would be R, U, W. Okay? So obviously it's an arc. Is it a major, minor, or semicircle? Major, because it's bigger than 180. That's a major arc. Then ST. What's ST?
It's a
Tangent.
tangent line. It's a point of tangency.
Well, that's a line, so it's a tangent line.
Oh, yeah.
You can just write tangent. Okay, then we have PN. What's that? Radius. Then the next one's an angle. We're going to skip it. So next one's MQ. It's an arc. Then which one does it have to be? Minor, major, or
Semicircle.
semicircle? If it has 2 letters, what does it have to be?
It has to be minor art.
Minor arc.
Yes, sir. I know they're bad.
Okay. Then QN. What would that be?
I can't even find the diameter.
Diameter.
I'm geeking.
Point R. Point of tangency. I'm just gonna write POT. I don't like writing out point of tangency, so I just put POT. Okay. Now U
Chord.
Y. It's not a chord, it's a secant.
Yes, sir. QR. Oh, that's one of them semis.
Yep. So if you notice with QRN, it's at the end points of a diameter, so it makes a complete half circle. So that would be a semicircle.
Whose phone's on top of the combo card? You can't live the attic.
Okay, skipping 14 because it's an angle. QR, what's that? Nope. Chord. Skipping 16 because it's an angle. Then we have YW, which is an arc. So that is a minor arc. We know it because it only has 2 letters. Okay. Then we have LN.
That's one of them,
Not tangent because it hits the circle twice. It's not a chord because it goes outside, so it has to be a secant.
I'm gonna use those.
Okay.
Diameter.
So the next one,
Oh, radius.
That's right.
UX, is a radius. Yes.
R, U, Y.
So RUY is either going to be a semicircle or a major. Since it's at the end of the diameters, it's a semicircle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to those angles real quick. So there's 2 different types of angles that we can have in a circle that, well, there's technically more, but there's 2 types we're looking at here, and it's called a central angle and an inscribed angle. So the difference between a central angle and an inscribed angle, the center of a central angle is at, well, the vertex of a central angle is at the center. So a central angle has a vertex at the center. An inscribed angle has a vertex on the side or on the circle. And the vertex is just where the 2 lines meet. That's the vertex right there, the little circle inside of an angle. Or the dot. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at those angles real quick. We're going to talk about those in just a second on page 5, but let's look at them. So NQR, the center is on the circle, so that is an inscribed angle. Then angle UXY, a central angle, yes, central angle. Okay, then MPQ, central or inscribed?
Central.
Central.
It goes in the center.
Yeah.
Where's K?
And then UYR,
Inscribed.
inscribed, because the center's on the side. Okay. So on the next page, we're going to talk about central and inscribed angles. So with a central angle, like I just said, central angles have are at the center of the circle. Their vertex is at the center of the circle. Hence the word central. And then an inscribed angle has a vertex on the circle. And then there's 2 examples right there. So To find the measure of a central angle and its arc, the angle of a central angle equals the arc measure. So this 80-degree angle equals its arc measure, okay? With an inscribed angle, the angle is only half of the arc. So if you're looking at this angle is 40, and its arc is 80. So 2 times the angle equals the arc, or the arc divided by 2 equals the angle. So 150 divided by 2 is 75. 75 times 2 is 150. So those are your 2 formulas for those. Central is easy, angle equals arc. Inscribed, angle equals arc divided by 2, or 2 times angle equals arc. So, looking down at the bottom, I have a central angle on number 1. What do I know about central angles and their arcs? They are the same. So here, x would equal 160. Okay, I have an inscribed angle of 100, and I want to find its arc. So 2 times angle equals arc with inscribed. So 2 times 100 is 200. So x equals 200.
Oh my gosh.
Count X, count M O.
Okay, the next one. So we're looking at this angle right here. So here's its arc. So the angle equals the arc divided by 2 with an inscribed angle. So 136 divided by 2 is what? 60.
62. 63.
64.
65.
68.
Hey,
So X would
alright,
equal
alright.
So x would equal 68 degrees. What do you notice about this angle right here, though? It's also 68 degrees.
Wait.
What do you notice about their arcs, though? Are their arcs the same?
Yes.
So if 2 angles have the same arc, they're the same angle. Okay. Then on the next one, we have central angles. And it wants us to find all the angles and all the arcs. So it's important to know that half of a circle equals what? 180. A whole circle equals 360. So if I'm looking at that diameter, just that half of that circle, if that one little slice of pie is 52, how much will be left for the other one?
180.
180 minus 52. So this would be 128. Now, we also know something about when 2 lines meet at a bow tie, their vertical angles. So if this angle is 52, this angle is 52.
Ooh. And if that angle right there is 64.
64. Because they're congruent.
No, bro.
Are they corresponding?
Now, how can I find the rest of that top of that semicircle? 180 minus? 180 minus 64 minus 52.
So 180 minus 28.
So that gives you
52. Easy 52.
64.
Oh, man.
Are they always gonna be like that?
What? The same?
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so if those are all of our central angles, then our outsides are 64, 64, 52, 128, and 52. So those will be our arc measures, because remember, angles equal arcs with central angles. Huh?
I'm trying to go play some basketball today.
Okay, I want y'all to try page 6 for me. So try page 6. Malia, where's Gabby?
Right here.
Where, was she over there earlier when I asked?
Got her.
Who are you at? Who y'all work?
May I go to the restroom?
Probably get that.
Can I go to the restroom?
When I get that.
No, ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody care.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, actually, they do. A bunch of people care about Gucci care about.
Hello, Miss Lily.
Get my phone back. Are you stupid?
You have your notes. Well, nice.
I got waves. I got waves. I got tidal waves.
Right.
Okay, you have to keep on with.
No, these ain't waves, these are curls.
No, that's not perfect.
They're permanent.
It's not wolves, it's weird.
Nasty.
What? Wolf?
I feel like I look short and stubby. Like my ankles. My ankles just not more than the day. Why?
Did you want to do this? No, I don't really.
I want to know the first one.
All you gotta do it. I just sit here.
Y'all had my AirPods in the whole time and I was not listening.
I just wait to hurt you back.
Oh, I'm not.
Alright,
Yo, we're
good
we
class.
like, we haven't played a dance quiz.
Did you get on last test?
What's it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the first time I feel it.
I felt it too.
I love my fans, I put on my bed.
And then I made a
Because I
different
was in
one.
her stupid
I
life.
give it all back right now. Just so you
I
smile.
left it. So, therefore, why didn't you listen to me? Dang.
Oh,
Quit. I'm not playing it. It's like, you're like, starting to get annoying.
I feel.
22.
I stand for like.
No.
Hannah, what did you just look
What
at?
do you guys
You
say?
blind.
Where?
You have a lot.
But I know I was doing. I didn't put it in the calculator.
Hannah, give me
I
my
just kept putting
AirPods.
it in the calculator the same way. I put her number in and I put tangent or the other
I'm like,
one.
I can't reach that.
Don't think. Oh my God.
What?
Oh, it's there.
In the backup.
Oh, you back up.
You trying to push me?
Actually, you did so much.
You trying to push me?
I did just jump.
Where is it? First time? She can't get it.
Yes, yes, I'm gonna put that there. You're not.
Y'all said
Did you
it.
feel it? Okay, maybe a little.
Hey, the first time you get it.
What happened? I need to. Hayden, do not put that up there.
Put it further back.
Stop playing with me.
Okay,
Stop playing with me.
No. Quit.
But you got the series one. Series one.
Who? I got for Christmas. Yeah. Happy early birthday, Ashley. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
It's tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's why I said early. That's why she said early.
You weren't as early as me.
Listen, girl. I'm gonna be 16, wild and free. Go.
Imagine still being 15.
Gucci, you really want to play?
You're
Gucci.
16.
You can't drive. You can't drive though.
Drive.
Let
We need to talk, we need to.
Yes, she can. He's just saying.
You're rude.
Just one, please.
Everybody say my shoulder, my friend, see.
Let me get one.
You know what?
What is it? Coffee.
You really want to
Yeah, you have coffee.
Are you trying to get me that school?
Feeling generous.
Oh, God,
I'm allowed to grab free.
We just want to McDonald's.
You dropped her?
Dang, what are you doing? Giving a charity?
What y'all working on for? Y'all still have stuff to do. We still have 10 minutes.
That's funny.
I need to use the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom too. I really gotta